So it's been 7 years since I moved back to Hawaii after living on the mainland for some time. I moved to Colorado, and then I moved to Oregon, and then I moved back to Colorado, and then I moved to California for a while, and then I moved to Hawaii. And yeah, it's been 7 years, and a lot has happened in Hawaii for me in 7 years. So I kind of just wanted to share some of those things that have happened. And I think looking back at these past 7 years, also highlighting some of the things that I noticed that are changing. So, one of the biggest things that happened to me was finding my job, the current job that I have. And from that, a lot of other opportunities have sort of sprung up. But it was really finding my job. And I remember I looked online when I was on the mainland and I applied, and I didn't think I even got the job. But when I eventually got the job, it was only on a temporary basis. I didn't have like beyond maybe like 4 or 5 months. And so I figured, well, I did this job for a while and then maybe I could find something else. But I ended up getting picked up full time and permanent, which was really exciting and nice because I really didn't have anything lined up after the job. But the job that I currently have and eventually sort of grow into now, it's allowed me a lot of really great opportunities. I think the biggest thing that this job has allowed me to do is that it made me more aware of what's going on in in the state of Hawaii, and especially with current events, politics, things like that. I'm able to now understand a little bit more about what's going on, because before I really didn't care, about politics or about the government and whatever. I was so busy with my own life. But now that my job is really directly related to a lot of those things, it makes me kind of have to care a little bit more. And I like that I have to care more. I like that I'm more informed about what's going on. Some of the decisions that they seem small on the news or in the newspaper, but actually they're quite big and they have a big impact on not just my life, but really on the lives of a lot of people. The second big life event that happened to me was that in 2013, I created a YouTube channel, and not this current YouTube channel, but it was another YouTube channel. And I just did it for fun back then. It's called Minute Book Reports, and basically it's a book summaries channel. And originally I created that channel because I wanted to summarize books, but I wanted to do it better than like Wikipedia. So I would read books and then I would do these really terrible, bad drawings. And based on that, that would be my video. And I want to talk about the books and share. And the channel started off very small, as you can imagine. It was really, really small in the beginning. I think barely like 10 views a video. But over time, as I did more and more videos, it got me more experience. I got better at making videos. I got faster at making videos. And I really enjoyed just the process of doing that. And I've been sort of off and on during that time. I think my last video was 2018 for that channel. But for about 5 years, I was doing videos, like a lot of videos, maybe sometimes I think 2 or 3 videos a week. And it really all came from my love for reading books and stories. And I just love to read and then talk about the books or share about the books. And it was something that helped me, I think, just creatively, just to do something for fun, something just for myself. And it was nice. The channel grew quite a bit, and I'm enjoying looking back at some of these older videos that I made, because it's just so interesting to see how my voice changed, how my style changed. And really, I look at that and I can take some of those lessons and apply them to this channel where, yeah, I'm starting out small. I'm starting out from basically nothing. But looking at the timeline of that channel and the improvements that I made over the years, I can see where even now, as I make these first dozen or so videos, I'm hoping that it'll get better over time. And so that was something that for me was very significant. The third big thing that happened was buying a condo. And if you know anything about Hawaii, it's very difficult to buy anything here. It's okay to rent, but rents are still pretty high. But in terms of trying to buy a place, it's extremely difficult. And again, going back to my job, the job that I got hired for, fortunately, it was enough for me to qualify to buy a place to live in Hawaii by myself, which looking back at it now, it's such a blessing because there's no way I could do it right now. Like if I had to buy a place right now, I don't think I could afford most places. But because of my timing back then, I was able to buy a place and it had to be built, but I waited and waited and waited and I saved a lot and eventually I was able to move in. Now going back to the saving thing, I remember for about a year and a half or 2 years to try and save money, I did not go out. I didn't eat out. And for lunch, I would eat the same thing, peanut butter sandwich and pretzels or chips. And I know that's not healthy. I know it's not healthy, but I was just trying to save money because it was so important for me to buy the place. I wanted to make sure that when it came time for the down payment that I was able to put the whole thing down, which in Hawaii, because everything is so expensive, I really had to save up a lot of money. And when I wrote that check for my down payment, that was a lot of money. I don't think I'd never written a check that big before. And I never seen that much money in my bank account before, but to see it all go away was a little scary. But it was such an important purchase. And, it makes me so thankful to be able to have a place. Yesterday at the city council, they had this hearing about a couple of vacation rental bills and how to regulate them. And I was watching some of it, and you know it was really hard to watch it because a lot of the people who were in support of the bills, who wanted the vacation rentals out of their neighborhoods, a lot of them were very emotional when it came to being able to afford to live in Hawaii, and they see all their family and friends, they have to move because they can't afford to be here because there's no affordable housing. There's no housing that doesn't require 2 or 3 jobs. And it made me think about how fortunate I was to buy a place, 5 years ago, and just I had to be patient. I had to sacrifice to get in there, but those opportunities don't come up every day. I mean, I haven't seen a place come up for that price ever since then. And so it just makes me really thankful and very blessed and fortunate to be able to have a place for myself, for my family, where I'm not having to worry about the rent. I'm not having to worry about just housing insecurity, having all those worries. It's okay, we have a place. I just have to work and keep paying it, but I don't have to worry about some landlord or extra factors. Here's my own little place and it's my home. And definitely the biggest thing that happened in these past 7 years was getting married. And it's something where I guess if you're from Hawaii, you're gonna probably get married in Hawaii. It's not really that big a deal. You kind of expect it because you're from here, your family is all here. But it's more so just getting married and just sort of that transition between living by myself, taking care of myself, all my own expenses, all my own interests, needs, all the hobbies that I had, and then getting married, and then that sort of changing, and that's completely different. Probably could go into that for a long time, but that's significant, and it's significant in Hawaii. I think that in Hawaii, because family is so important, when you're combining 2 families, it's something where it's very special. But getting married has also taught me that you have to be flexible. You have to compromise. It's not just the things that I want anymore. It's what does my wife want? What does she value? And some of those things are tough when you're living in Hawaii. It's challenging because the expense of the time, the busyness, all these types of things. Whereas if I didn't really care about something or I didn't want to go out and do something, I'd just ignore it. It's no big deal. But now, I have to consider what she may want to do and what that means for our schedules.